Hello everybody and welcome to another F1 2020 video. Today we're racing with the Racers 1 League and we are at the Vietnam Grand Prix. Very unusual track, very difficult, not one you go to often, so this is going to be very interesting to see how we stack up. We've had a little bit of practice and we're feeling fairly confident, but it's difficult to get the long run pace in. So one shot qualifying, let's jump into my qualifying lap and see what I can manage. It's a very tricky first set of corners. This right hander is so key. You can lose so much time here, and we do get the speed just a little bit wrong, brake a bit early, and then we get a snap of oversteer coming on off the exit of it as well. Loses us a little bit of time. And then coming down into this corner, we brake a little bit late, lock up, lose the back end slightly, and it loses a little bit more time yet again. So this isn't an ideal lap. This is far from perfect, but we'll get a nice run out onto the back straight now. It's ridiculously long back straight here at Vietnam. It's not really sort of a straight, it's one long curve. It means it's very difficult to set the car up because you want a lot of downforce at this track, but you become very vulnerable down that back straight, braking very late into tight hairpin. There we get a nice drive coming off of that, and it's only going to help gain us lap time. And then into this third sector, which we are very strong at. We set the car up for ever so slightly more downforce to play on our strengths in the race, hopefully. And through this sector, we get it hooked up absolutely beautifully. As you can see, we're getting the car turned in and grip into the track really, really nicely. We do end up having a bit of a lock-up run, just a touch wide in the left-hand hairpin. Bit of wall banging for good measure, and again on the exit, but up to the line, and we go purple, which means that is going to be pole position. Pole position, it was by 9/10 in the end as well, so that's absolutely ideal. So we've got the pace around this track. Let's jump to the race, see what we can manage. Game reckons two-stop strategy is the way to go. I have a little play around, won't let me do softs to mediums, will only let me do softs to hard, so we choose that, but I think we are going to extend our soft stint out and go straight onto the mediums, to be honest. But 5 lights and away we go. And it's an okay start, not brilliant, but it's not too bad. We managed to hold position coming into turn 1. We've got somebody on the outside of us, but we closed the door on them, and we have got away in the lead nice and cleanly, which is ideal. We pop to a replay now. You will see the Williams in second place just comes across the last moment, gives us a little nudge on the rear. There's only minor contact, as you can see there. It is barely contact at all, but it just gives us a warning. But that is the perfect start that we want. Now, we want to absolutely drive up the road and leave these guys standing if we can. We certainly want to get out the DRS zone, but as we come out the first corner, you can see we've got the gap up to over a second already, which is ideal. So let's make sure we can get a nice run out onto this back straight, because that's going to be very important, and we do get that. We're already 1.2 seconds up the road. We'll fast forward this straight. I'm running, like I said, a little bit more wings than a lot of people, so I do tend to be a bit slower on a straight line, but we've got such a nice exit that it means that deficit is reduced, and the rest of the lap we're a lot quicker as well, which is ideal. So let's come into this last sector now. This is where we are really strong in the race. I must admit, it's such a fun sector to drive as well. I absolutely love it. When you get the car hooked up round here, it's just such a great feeling. It reminds me a little bit of the first sector in Japan, just without the undulation. Here we come, last corner. Our teammates in the pits to serve a drive-through penalty, but as we come over the line, we have got the gap to 2 whole seconds after just the first lap, which is absolutely perfect. Let's keep this momentum up. We fast forward now for the second lap. We start to pull even more of a gap on the cars behind us. We go purple again, sector 1. We do want to stretch our soft tyres as long as we can though, so we can comfortably go on the mediums. But if we can pull a gap now, it gives us that little bit of breathing space that we're not going to be undercut by anyone behind us. As you can see, coming into the third sector on this lap, we haven't gained a massive amount, but through the last sector we do gain a fair amount of time overall, and the gap is now up to about 2.3, 2.4 seconds as we go past the lap once more. As we skip through the laps now, that is pretty much it for our first stint. We just pull a pretty good gap on the guys behind. We pull a gap about 9/10 to a second a lap at times. So we just start gaining an incredibly big lead.
We're approaching.
So we are in a race of our own pretty much right now, which is nice. And as we come on to the end of lap 9, we've got a 7-second gap over second place, who decides to go for his pit window now. We are going to pit, I think, as well at the end of this lap. It's lap 10. We've got 18 laps to go. I think we can make the mediums last till the end, especially if there is a safety car. But so far, this has been a good race so far. No safety cars yet. We just take it nice and easy coming into the pits. We don't want a penalty. Medium tyres go on, and we are away once more.
We'll be doing one more
And come out of the pit lane. We've only been overtaken by one person, which is a Renault, who is only about 3.5 seconds up the road from us. He's still on old soft compound tyres, so he must be struggling for pace. And as we skip to the end of lap 12, we have already caught up to the back of this Renault. He is obviously struggling so much on those tyres. You can see the pace advantage we have over him at this point in time. So let's get a nice run onto the start-finish straight. We do have DRS. It's not a very long one, but let's use a bit of battery, see what we can manage. We don't want to be held up by him too long. We go at the inside, and we have got this move done, and that is back into the lead we go. We can pop to a replay of the overtake. It's about all the action I've had in this race so far. Such has our dominance been around this track, which has been nice for myself. A nice boring race is ideal, really. But now we want to gap him. We don't want him to attack us back. But through the first set of corners, we've already gained the gap over a second. So we're not within DRS range. And we do actually get a bit of DRS from the lapped car up ahead of us, the AI car. So that just pulls us even further up the road. You can see gaps already out, 1.7, 1.8, nearly 2 seconds by the end of this lap. I think his pace is struggling. There you go, 2.93 seconds as we come into the second to last corner. His tyres have really dropped off the end of the cliff. So now he pops into the pits, and the gap behind is going to be 4 seconds to the next chap. But both second and third have 5-second penalties. And end of lap 18, we have a 15.5 second gap. We've pulled that out to. We've been so fast, which has been really, really nice to see. But if you look in the mirror, you watch in the mirror, you see the Racing Point decides to deliberately crash himself out, and that brings the safety car out, which is super annoying, really. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but what it does mean is that gap that we've worked so hard to gain, we've now lost. We've got plenty of gap though that we can actually put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres and still easily come out into the lead. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn from our mistakes from last time. We're not going to be left vulnerable.
Exit now.
We're going to go straight into brand new softs, and then we're going to have the pace for the rest of this race.
Okay,
End of lap 21 now. Safety car is in this lap. The Williams behind us has got a drive-through penalty as well, so that's going to give us a bit of help as well, because even if he does manage to get past us, we're going to get past him again anyway. So very gutting for him on that one. but we know we're very quick in this sector, so I decide to go very slowly indeed. I want the safety car to get into the pits because I want to bolt a lot earlier than people are expecting me to. As you can see, we're getting ready to go, and we do go. We are very quick through this sector, so I want to use this to my advantage to pull a gap before we get to line. As you can see, second to last corner, and we've already pulled 1.5 seconds on the guy behind us, the Williams, which is perfect. This has been an absolutely fantastic start.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this
1.8 seconds as we go over the line. So what a brilliant restart from myself. Not to big myself up or anything, but I'm not normally very good at restarts, and this one I've pulled off to perfection. So let's just keep this neat and tidy. Not too many more laps to go. We know we got the pace on them. Let's keep this gap, and we are looking very, very good for this race win. Currently purple in sector 1.
Okay, the gap behind is
Little lock up, but doesn't cost us too much time. This awkward left-hander. Got to accelerate a bit, then brake, scrub the speed off to turn in and get a nice exit onto this long back straight.
Currently, the fastest lap is a 1 minute 39.3.
As we just asked Jeff there what the fastest lap of the Grand Prix is so far. Let's see if we can actually beat it and gain that extra point, which would be absolutely ideal. Very late on the brakes into this hairpin. It's a difficult one to pick your braking point. You've got to brake her at 75 yards, which is very late considering the speed and the angle of the corner. We go purple through sector 2, so this is looking very nice indeed. Through the last sector, which we know we're very strong at. Just trying to be silky smooth, but we get that last sector hooked up very nicely indeed. Little bit of oversteer coming at the second to last corner. Up to the line. What's this going to be? It's going to be a 1:38.482. It is 1.2 seconds faster than my previous best, which was set on old mediums in fairness. We're going to ride on board with this next lap again and see if we can improve on that even further. You see the gap behind us, 3.6 seconds now. We've absolutely bolted up the road. It's looking like such a dominant performance from myself. Let's just keep it neat and tidy. No more risks, but I do want to improve on my fastest lap. I just want to make sure it is secure. I want that extra point if I can get it. Down through this ridiculously long back straight. Little bit of a lock up, but not too much of a problem. Get up back on the power. Actually really nice to get a lovely exit through there. We have gone purple in sector 1 again. We do lose a little bit of time in sector 2, but we're only about 100th down on our best time through there. Once again, hooking that last sector up really nicely indeed. This time we don't get a lock up through the second to last corner. We get a much nicer run through there and up to the line. I think we're going to improve yet again. We certainly do. A 1:38.3 this time. DRS is enabled, but we don't have to worry because we have now a 7-second gap to Jim Strave behind us as the William drops in to do his drive-through penalty. Yet again, purple through sector 1, so we're just improving on our lap time. We're not slowing off, we're not backing off, we are just going faster and faster and faster at this point. Like I said, we've got a 7-second gap, and we are very, very comfortable now with about 5 laps to go. Personal best through the middle sector. As we come through to the last sector, we get this last sector hooked up again. Very nice. You get a little wobble of oversteer, which runs us a little bit wide into the next corner. No big deal. However, as we come up to the second to last corner, the safety car comes out again, and that gap that we have built for ourselves is going to be reduced to nothing once more. super frustrating
car is in this lap.
by
Safety
myself.
car
And
in
this
this
time we
lap.
have Jim
You'll
Strav
be
behind us,
controlling
who we
the
know
pace
is
on
very
restart.
quick
Keep it
and got us
steady
on the
until the
safety car
has
restart
reached
last
the pit
time.
lane.
This time though, he hasn't got a major pace advantage in tyres, and we also feel pretty comfortable at this track. So let's see what we can manage. There's only going to be 2 laps of racing once we cross the line. We're going to do the same as last time. We're going to bolt fairly early through this middle sector. I just want to give the safety car enough time. But what I don't realise at this point is actually I have neglected my rear tyres a little bit, and they are a little bit cold. As we go once more, as we come through this sector, we run a little bit wide, get a bit too much power, and then lose the back end, and very lucky not to end up spinning or putting it in the barrier. And we did get a jump on Jim Strav, but because of that error, he's gained right back onto the back of us once more, and now I'm starting to feel the pressure. I am so desperate. I do not want this win to slip through my fingers. And we start driving a little bit raggedy, a little bit scruffy, and it's losing us time, and we're struggling to pull away. And the more I do, the more desperate I get, and the worse I drive as a result, which is far from ideal. He's only half a second behind us. At the moment, we're comfortably holding him off. He's not looking threatening enough to send a move up the inside, but I don't want to risk it. I want to be as far away from him as possible. We make sure we get a nice drive off of that weird left-hander, the roundabout type left-hander, because we know he's very quick in a straight line compared to us. And as you can see, by the end of the back straight, he's catching up on us once more.
We have 2 laps of fuel
And
remaining.
one of the sectors we're quick at, this sector 3, as you can see, we lose the back end. That is a place where we gain a lot of time, and then we're a lot better on the power, a lot earlier on the power, and we have lost a little bit thanks to my over-eagerness on the throttle. And through this last sector where I am quick, he actually manages to stick behind us. We only start losing him by the last couple of turns, and we gain a tenth or 2 on him, which isn't really enough than what I want. But up to the start-finish line now, and we are crossing the line for the last lap of the Grand Prix, and the gap is 7.5 tenths currently. So he's still within a second, and we're still very vulnerable. Third place is 3.5 seconds down the road, so he's got no pressure from anyone behind. So let's just try and focus up ahead. Let's try and drive nice and smoothly, and that works through the first sector because we've already pulled 1.2 seconds on him nearly. As we go personal best through sector 1. It's just, I would think I was just paying too much attention to the rear view mirrors and not enough in front of me. We go nice and conservatively through there. We wanted to make sure we don't ruin our exit, and he gains a little bit back on me once more, but because we got that nice exit, he's not going to be close enough come the hairpin to have a look at overtaking me, and we've got this well covered off. And now we get on the power nicely, which we do manage, and we're coming into the third sector, which is nearly impossible for overtaking, and I'm feeling pretty confident. We set personal best through sector 2 once again, which so we've really started to hook it up together through this lap, and we start to pull a gap once again on him through the last sector. Just a couple more corners. Let's not throw it away now. Get the second to last corner hooked up very nicely indeed. Up to the line, up to the checkered flag. And we have won the race and set a fastest lap. Once again, a 1:38.237 as we cross the line on the last lap. And that is the race win in the bag and the extra point for fastest lap. Super happy with that. It's been a dominant performance for myself. Just felt really comfortable in the end. I was rather worried about this track. But in the end, nothing to worry about. My pace, my setup worked wonders round here. As we celebrate our podium, that gives us a mighty lead in the championship. There's only 3 rounds gone, but we're nearly double the points of the guy in second place. So far, things are looking pretty good for us. Let's try and keep this momentum. Let's not take our foot off the gas. But thank you very much for watching. If you could please like and subscribe. But until next time, bye-bye.